When you first watch Happy Gilmore, it feels like one of the funniest and most heartwarming comedies of the 1990s. Adam Sandler is at his best, combining his over-the-top rage-filled humor with a surprisingly emotional story. The jokes hit hard, the quotes are memorable, and the sports underdog theme keeps things moving. But when you watch the movie again years later, you might notice something strange about how it ends. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's a huge emotional mistake that the movie makes. Even worse, when Happy Gilmore 2 came out, it repeated the same error and made it more obvious. Let's go back to the start of Happy Gilmore. The movie opens with a montage of Happy's childhood. We see that his father is a major influence in his life. He's the one who introduces Happy to hockey and clearly loves him a lot. Even though this part is short, it's meaningful. It shows us where Happy's passion comes from and helps us understand why he is the way he is. Sadly, his dad dies early during a hockey game. After that, Happy is raised by his sweet grandmother, and his life takes a strange, often funny but difficult turn. Throughout the movie, we see Happy acting out with violence and anger, especially when things don't go his way. But deep down, he's got a good heart. He's not a bad guy, he's just dealing with pain and trauma in a loud, wild way. It's part of what makes him so relatable. He doesn't come from a perfect home, he doesn't have everything handed to him, and he's constantly fighting for those he loves, especially his grandmother. That's why it's so odd that in the final moments of Happy Gilmore, his dad is completely left out. Instead of showing Happy's father looking down from heaven at his son's big victory, we get a joke. Chubbs, Happy's golf mentor who died earlier, is shown smiling down from the clouds. Alongside him is the alligator that bit his hand off, and even Abraham Lincoln, for some unexplained reason. Sure, it's meant to be funny and random, a kind of goofy twist on the usual emotional endings that movies give us. But still, it feels like a huge missed opportunity. Chubbs was important, yes, but he was only part of Happy's journey in golf. His father, on the other hand, shaped who he was as a person from the very beginning. Happy's anger, his love for hockey, and even the reason he lives with his grandmother, all of it goes back to the loss of his dad. So why wouldn't the movie give us a touching moment where Happy's dad shows up in the sky with Chubbs? It would have made the ending not just funny, but truly heartfelt. It would have reminded the audience where Happy started and how far he came. Fast forward to Happy Gilmore 2, the long-awaited sequel released on Netflix. This was the perfect chance to fix that mistake from the first film. The sequel could have taken a second to honor Happy's father properly, but instead it made things worse. Right at the start of Happy Gilmore 2, we find out that Happy's wife Virginia has died. On top of that, he gets kicked out of his grandmother's home. It's a dark and shocking way to begin a comedy, especially after how uplifting the original's ending was. It basically resets everything. Happy's happy ending has been erased. He's back to being alone and angry, though now older and slightly more subdued. By the time we get to the end of the sequel, it tries to echo the original's final scene. Once again, Chubbs appears in the sky, smiling down on Happy. It's a nice tribute to Carl Weathers, who played Chubbs and sadly passed away in real life. That part of the ending feels respectful and appropriate. But then it happens again. They include other faces in the sky, characters from the sequel who had minor roles, like a random aggressive fan played by Eminem. It turns into another over-the-top gag like the original. But guess who's missing again? Happy's dad. Not even a mention. Not even a glance. And this time it's even more noticeable, because they went out of their way to include extra characters. It's like they remembered every single person except the one who meant the most to Happy when he was growing up. Maybe the filmmakers thought audiences wouldn't care or remember. After all, it's been decades since the first movie came out. Maybe they figured people forgot about Happy's dad entirely. But if you rewatch Happy Gilmore before seeing the sequel, it's impossible not to notice. That early scene with his dad is still there. It still hits hard. And it still makes you wonder why the ending ignored such a key part of Happy's story. It's not about trying to make Happy Gilmore some super serious drama. It's always been a comedy first. But comedies can still have emotional depth. In fact, that's what makes the best ones stand out. Happy Gilmore had the chance to be funny and meaningful. It almost pulled it off. But by leaving out Happy's dad at the end both times, it missed a golden opportunity. If we're being honest, this small detail could have elevated the ending into something really special. It would have brought Happy's journey full circle. It would have shown growth, healing, and closure. It would have reminded us that this wasn't just a movie about a guy yelling at golf balls. It was a story about someone learning how to channel their grief and anger into something good. And who better to smile down on him at the end than the man who helped start that journey? For longtime fans, it's a little heartbreaking. We love Happy Gilmore for its wild humor and unforgettable moments. But now, with the sequel out and the same mistake repeated, it's hard not to wonder what could have been. All it would have taken was a small nod, a simple image of a proud father looking down at his son. Just a few seconds. But those few seconds would have changed everything. Maybe if there's a Happy Gilmore 3, hey, anything's possible with nostalgia. The filmmakers can finally get it right. Give us the laughs, give us the chaos, but don't forget the heart. And definitely don't forget the people who made Happy who he is, starting with his dad.